Namaste and a very, very good morning to all of you. I welcome you to my channel, The Outlier. In today's presentation, we will be seeing how to pull out certain basic statistics from Python. Now, today, I will be showing you certain important functions which are part of what is known as EDA or Exploratory Data Analysis. Now, to show you some of these basic functionalities, let me grab a package which is called as Seaborn package. You can just use this command import Seaborn as SNS. SNS is just an alias name which I will be providing. Now, with Seaborn package, what happens is that it's a very, very popular package. It's a versatile package. Seaborn package is primarily used for visualization, graphics, and such things. It's a high-level Python library for doing graphs and for also pulling out certain important visualizations. Right. My goal is not to show you any visualization. I'm importing this particular package Seaborn to get some data sets here. There are inbuilt data sets that are present in Seaborn. And one of these data sets is known as iris dataset. I will be working on the iris dataset. Now, to see all the names of the the names of the data sets that are present in this particular library, what you can do is you can just type SNS dot get underscore dataset. Get underscore dataset underscore names. So this is a command that will display the names of all the data sets that are present in this particular library Seaborn package. It's taking some time to load the names of the data sets. You can see here roughly around 10 to 12 different data sets are present. Anagrams data set is there. You have the attention data set. My personal favorite would be flights data set as well as iris. It allows you to do a lot of analysis. You might have also seen other people use the Titanic data set, especially for regression and such things. Now, as you can see here, I will be using this particular data set, iris data set, to show some of the important statistics that are necessary while you do EDA. All right. Now, to load a data set, what you can do is SNS dot load, L-O-A-D, load underscore data set. This is the function that you will be using to load a particular data set. The name of the data set has to be specified within quotes. So SNS dot load underscore data set. It needs a place to live. So I will just create this particular object, which is called as iris object. So what this particular function does is it loads the data set from Seaborn package, and it will dump it into an object which is known as iris. It's taking some time to run this particular command. Iris is a small file. It's not really a huge file. If my memory serves me right, it's around 150 cases, so it should not take too much time, right? So this is the object that we have created, iris. Now, the moment somebody gives you a data set, one of the first things that you need to do when somebody hands over a data set is to inspect the contents of this particular. The way to do this is by running a head function. So you call the object name, that is, you call this particular data frame iris dot head of. This is the function that I will be running. And you can see the initial preview of the data set, right? You can see the initial preview of the data set. It displays the first 5 rows that are present in this particular data set. You have the row identifier. Python, as you know, is zero-based indexing. And it also displays some important columns here, like sepal length. We are talking about different flowers here. And the characteristics of different flowers are the column names. So the first column that I have is sepal length. Second column that I have is sepal width. And the third column that I have is petal length. Fourth column that I have is petal width. And finally, I've got a categorical variable, which is known as species. So this is the categorical variable that I have, which is species. So I've got 4 scale variables, namely sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and finally, I've got the 5th column, which is nothing but species. Now, how do you pull out certain basic statistics for this particular data set? Now, to extract certain basic statistics, you can run a command which is known as the describe command or the describe function. Call the object name. The object name that we are working on is iris dataset, iris.describe. Right? You can call the object name, put a dot, and then use the function describe off. Let me run this function. And you can see here in a short span of time, it displays all the important statistics that we would be interested in. It displays the count, which is nothing but the sample size here. The sample size here is 150, right? You've got 150 rows for this particular data set. The average value is displayed here, right? Average is nothing but a measure of central tendency. The average sepal length, it's around 5.84. The average sepal width is around 3.05. The average petal length is around 3.75, and the average petal width is 1.19, right? You also have standard deviation here, which is nothing but a measure of dispersion. It reports standard deviation for all the 4 scale variables here, right? And other basic statistics, like what is the minimum sepal length. You also have the maximum sepal length, right? It displays the minimum and the maximum, and 25th percentile, 50th percentile, and 75th percentile. These important statistics help us understand the data that we have in richer detail, right? Also, minimum, maximum, 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, all these things are required in the box plot as well. So a table, this particular describe function gives a simple table which helps me understand what is the average sepal length, what is the average sepal width, petal length, so on and so forth. It also gives me measure of dispersion and other important statistics like minimum, maximum, 25th percentile, 50th percentile, and the 75th percentile, right? Now, one problem that you might have observed is that we are able to see many digits after the decimal point, right? Roughly around, it displays around 5 digits post the decimal point. We don't want to see 5 or 6 different digits, 6 digits after the decimal point. So is there a way in which I can just display, is there a way in which I can just see the 2 decimal, 2 digits after the decimal point? Now to do this, I need a library which is called as NumPy, right? I'm going to import a library which is called as NumPy. Importing is pretty simple in Python. All that you need to do is say import NumPy as NP, right? So within a span of seconds, it is able to import this particular function, this particular library called as NumPy. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to call this particular data set, which is called as iris, right? And then I will be sort of using a function which is known as mean, right? Iris dot mean of function, right? You can see here, it displays the mean for the 4 variables that I have: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. Again, as before, you can see after the decimal, you have 6 different digits being displayed here. Now, this is where my NumPy comes to my rescue. What I can do is basically, I can just use a function which is known as round function, round off. So I'm just going to say np.round. np, as you know, is nothing but an alias name for NumPy. np.round of. You can pass a function which is known as iris.mean. You can put a comma here and say 2. What does this 2 mean? I want Python to display only the 2 digits, the first 2 digits after my decimal, right? So I'm going to execute this particular command. You can see here quickly. Once you use numpy.roundoff function, it is able to display only the first 2 digits after the decimal point. Now, np.mean is one of the most important functions that we use in NumPy array. Mean, median, mode. There are a lot of functions which you can sort of, there are a lot of statistics which you can sort of extract here, right? Now, let me just copy this, right? Paste it here, right? Now, instead of mean, let's say I want the median. I want the median for these 4 scale variables that are present in iris dataset. So again, I want it to display only the first 2 digits, of the median. So let me just run this. Now you can see the median sepal length, the median sepal width, the median petal length, and the median petal width as well. So this is how you can use the mean function, the median function in Python very, very simply, and sort of in a user-friendly way. It displays all the important statistics and numbers. One final command which you may be interested in is to display the non-missing count, right? The non-missing count by each column, right? So to display, scroll down. To display the non-missing count by each column. Right? Now there's a very, very simple function which is called as a count function. You can just run this function which is known as count function, iris.countoff. And you can see here, it displays the sample size corresponding to each variable here. Sepal length 150 cases I have, sepal width 150 cases I have, petal length is 150, petal width is again 150. Now you can see species. For the variable species, again, it is displaying the sample size. When you did a mean or a median, it did not display the mean or the median for species, understandably so, because species here is a categorical variable. It's a string data, so it is not meaningful for us to use mean and such things for string data. So this is how you can see here. There are 3 important functions. One is the describe function, which produces all the important statistics here. Secondly, you can also use the mean function, the median function, and as well as the count function to generate certain basic statistics. We have also seen how to use NumPy. This is a very, very simple function. NumPy has 101 inbuilt functions which can be used. You can get a square root if you want. You can do a whole lot of things with NumPy. But this is just the first video of how do you sort of pull out, how do you extract basic statistics in Python. I hope you have liked this video. I thank you very much for watching my video. I request you to subscribe my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.